Hi guys, it's Amy from Little Farm Quilts. How are you? Today is, let me move my cup, December 28th, 3 days after Christmas of 2021. This is FlossTube number 49. You're going to see me keep looking over here because I have some reference stuff over on my screen over here. This will be FlossTube number 49. This is my year-end finish and WIP parade. So welcome to my FlossTube. I'm talking all today about cross stitch. There's no knitting, no nothing else, no anything. I can't even speak English today. Nothing else except for cross stitch. And so if you just stumbled on my channel, thanks for stopping by. If you are a returning viewer, thanks so much. If you view my videos and you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing to the channel. It helps us as YouTubers and content creators. If you like the videos, it also gets my videos out there for more people to see. And as always, if you comment, I will at least give you a heart, if not comment back on your comment. And if you have any questions of anything I show you today, be sure to ask me. I'd be happy to tell you. As you can see from behind me, we are sitting downstairs in the quilting portion of my basement. So we have artificial lighting. I'm hoping it works out well as far as lighting the projects. It is dreary here today, so filming upstairs in my sewing room was probably not going to work. So, I have been on vacation. My last day at work was the 22nd of December. I do not return until the 3rd of January, so this has been kind of nice. However, I will say that my husband and I both struggle with not having enough stuff to do. We like being busy. But without further ado, I have spent some time today putting all of my WIPs into an Excel spreadsheet with a start date, with the fabric and the threads, in the hopes that going through this WIP parade, I might actually set some goals for each of these WIPs. I think what I've decided to do is, instead of trying to conform to some sort of stitchy schedule, which if you've been around here long enough to know, you know that doesn't work for me. If I set goals for each piece for the year of 2022, that might work out somewhat better. Lately I feel like I've been on Startomania, so let me look. How many? I have started 4, or will have by Friday started 4 new pieces in December. And then in November I started 2, October I started 3, and so on and so forth. But then again, thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoy your time here. Let's start with finishes first. So in 2021, I thought I had more finishes than I have, but I have finishes, and that's the important part. I don't know what order I finished these in, so I'm just going to show you them in whatever order I have them here. The first ones I have here are the strawberries that I did by Blackbird Designs. I have since gifted this pattern past the stash forward, so I don't remember the name of the strawberries, but I can show you all of them. My friend Debbie and I finished these on a YouTube video, so if you want to see our finishing, you can, let's switch this up, let's take these out, put these back in. You can definitely see how we finish these on that video. Mine are not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but I love them. They are Christmas strawberries, but I keep them out year long, hence the dog fur. But here you go. I like doing these. I do have at least 1 or 2 more strawberry patterns in my my pattern stash. I think one's by Erica Michaels, and I forget who the other one's by. But there you go. These were my Blackbird Design strawberries. And I literally have stacks of things around me. So we're going to kind of move things as I'm done showing them. I'm also going to be zipping bags up and putting things away after I show them to keep things kind of organized, because otherwise this place will never be picked back up. So just kind of bear with me on that. Another finish I had, and I think this is Heart and Hand. It's Winter. I did this with stash threads because I didn't have all the called for, and I just did it on what looks like 16 count cream Aida. So that's it. I did the stitch along with Lindy Stitches, Onward Noble Steed. I know there was some controversy around, I'm trying to get these in the light, around this. I chose not to change it for a lot of reasons, but I think probably the main one is I think it reminds me of the history and what I learned through doing the stitch and the controversy that erupted over this. There was a controversy about African American girls and crocodiles, and I think I learned a lot through reading the posts on this, and keeping it the same. I keep this, as you can see, I have pins in it. I keep this on my ironing board in my sewing room, and I stuffed it with walnut shells, and I'm using it as a pin cushion. And every time I look at it, I think of what I learned, and that's what I like about this piece. But not to mention, I'm kind of a Lindy Stitches fan. Another finish, this is part of Snow Village, which was a stitch along with Fat Quarter Shop. I believe in it might have started in 2020. I've got the rest of the patterns in my stash. I don't know if I will do them right now or not. Maybe I'll pull them out when I need smalls. I did a couple of ornaments from the Housewives. I have not FFO'd these, as you can tell, but I do plan to FFO them, and actually I plan to FFO them into little pillows to put in my tiered tray. Meant to get them done by this Christmas, but obviously that didn't happen. I finished Jack Frost Tree Farm. This was a 7-part series by Little House Needleworks. I only did 4 parts. I stitched this on 28 count Monaco that was tea-dyed by me with the called for threads, and I plan to make this into a wall hanging, small wall hanging for Christmas. I actually stopped with the 4 parts because with just the 4 parts done, it will fit on one of the wooden plaques that I've acquired from Hobby Lobby. So that's that. I finished Autumn Alphabet. I believe this was a Cottage Garden Samplings pattern, I believe. This was my own conversion, stash threads. I've got this already. I'm going to make it into a pillow. I have some gray velveteen to go on the back. And I will be putting some orange trim around it. Dracula's Confession by Lindy Stitches. I gotta get used to putting it on this side. This was stitched on 28 count Murky by Picture This Plus. This was in Stash Dive threads because I did not have the called for, and I stitched this out of Stash Dive. But I think it came out great. I love it. It comes out in Halloween, and it sits in my sewing room all year long, so I get to see it all year long. But I absolutely love this stitch. Had a great time with it. And my big finale finish for this year was, ta-da, Huckleberry Farm by the Blue Flower. That light's kind of washing it out a little bit. Let's see if we can. This was with the called for DMC on the called for fabric in 18 count. It's 18 count shale Aida by Picture This Plus. The camera's really not doing it justice. I framed it in a frame that I got from Amazon. And now after we take the Christmas decorations down, I will find a place to hang that. That is my largest finish to date. And as you'll see when we continue into my WIP parade, is by no means the largest piece I have going. That's just my largest finish to date. So those are my finishes. So let's see. I thought when I started listing my WIPs, I kind of got a little overwhelmed with the amount of WIPs I have. According to my Excel spreadsheet over here, I have 35. One of these WIPs is MIA, and I'll talk about that when we get there. I'm kind of sad I can't find it. It's got to be here somewhere. But anyway, I'll talk about that more when we get there. But we're going to start from my oldest WIP moving forward. So if you've been around here long enough, you know what my oldest WIP is. My oldest WIP is back from 1996. It is a Gold Collection Dimensions kit, Lost No More. And when I first pulled this back to stitch on it, I had this part, the upper part of Jesus done, some of this tree, and I'd gone up and stitched a small section over here. And I said at the beginning of the year in Full Coverage Fanatics that I was going to do the 20,000 stitches in 21,000 stitches in 2021. I think that's what it was. And I divided that out by day, and I was going nice and strong, and I got a lot done with this, and then I burned out on it and put it away. I don't think I've stitched on it anything but intermittently over the last few months. I have gotten a lot of progress on it this year. And here is where it stands like right now. So I've gotten almost the whole upper half done. I would say that I'm almost halfway through. Once I get that foliage down to where I have finished Jesus off, that will be about halfway through the chart, if not a little more. As you know, Dimensions kits are full coverage. I did recently take this project on a road trip. We took a road trip to Pennsylvania for an overnight, and I was able to stitch it in the car on the way to Pennsylvania. Let me readjust here. In my plan, as we go along through these WIPs, I'm going to try to set my 2022 goals. So right now, I'm going to say for 2022, I'd like to get that finished. So that's what I'm putting into my spreadsheet here. We'll see how it goes. The second WIP that I have on the docket is Cardinal Points. This was a collaboration between the Gentle Art and Long Dog Samplers. This was a start with 2 Martini Stitcher for Leap Day Long Dog sale. I didn't keep up with the hashtag, which I generally don't do. And I'm doing this with the called for DMC. Gosh, the color on these things does not look good today. I don't know if it's the camera or what. Here, if I put it closer. There you go. It's pretty, right? So I started stitching, and I really love stitching on it because I just like the pattern. I like the colors. What got me discouraged on this piece had nothing to do with the pattern or the colors. You will see here in a sec. I gotta figure out how many. This is on, it's an 18 count or 36 count Edinburgh linen. And I started to get suspicious that I was not going to have enough fabric to finish the piece. So I decided to stitch across the top border. And sure enough, look where it landed. Can you guys see that? How close that is? and it's been on timeout ever since. And I really wasn't sure what I was going to do. You know, I toyed around with restarting, but I'm not going to do that. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to sew some fabric onto the side here just so I can make sure to keep that side of the fabric. When I get it framed, I'm going to have it framed close, and then it won't matter that it's that close. My hope is that I've cut it evenly all the way down, that it works. I think it is, but we'll see. But my goal for this, for 2022, is to have the top half done. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to sew some fabric on the edge. We will load it up, and I'm going to try to get the top half of it done for 2022. The next WIP that I have is my Christmas list. This is by Carriage House Samplings. Let me see if I can find that. Oh no, Silver Creek Samplers. I don't even have the right. Silver Creek Samplers. So Silver Creek Samplers, my Christmas list. This has had a story. I originally started this on May 8th in 2020 as part of Mania. Let's see this. Let's see if it focuses. There you go. I started May 8th of 2020 as part of Mania. I had originally started on 40 count Beach Brew by Picture This Plus. Didn't like how it was turning out on that. Then I started it on, I don't remember my second start on it. I didn't like that either. My third start I like a lot. And so technically I restarted this year. I am using the Stitching with the Housewives conversion. I am stitching this on 36 count Neptune by Picture This Plus. And look how nicely that is coming out. Excuse the thread. I park my threads when I'm done because I notoriously have counting issues. So there we go. I am using 2 strands over 1 on the lettering, and I think on the rest I'm doing 1 over 2. Or 2 strands over 2 on the lettering, 1 over 2 on all the others. And let's see, what should my goal be on this one? I think maybe half done would be great. You guys should comment on what you think my goals are. Keep in mind, so my goals are what I call soft goals because I'm a nursing instructor at a local nursing college. I'm also in college to obtain my master's for nursing education. Right now I'm on a break. From teaching, I don't go into teaching session until late January, and I don't go into my semester at my college, taking my master's until late January. So I have a little bit of a break here that I could be stitching. So I'm hoping that some of the breaks, plus I have large summer breaks, so I think these goals could be pretty attainable. Alright, my next WIP is Token of Love by With Thy Needle and Thread. Brenda Gervais. I originally started this as an anniversary piece for my husband and myself. Sorry I'm not taking that out of the bag. I'm using Stash Dive threads. I'm stitching this on 32 count French Roast by R&R. I'm targeting a finish on this one for 2022. It is not very big. And this is where I stand currently. Actually, we don't need to do this. Let's do this. Right there. Quite happy with how that looks. And there's no reason why I should not be able to have that finished in 2022. Right? Great. Who do I have next? I have Southern Land by Owl Force Embroidery. I was inspired to do this one. Who is it that inspired me to do this one? I can't think of it right now, but here you go. This is Owl Force Embroidery Southern Land. I love this piece because it's blues and reds and a peach, which comes across to me as a little bit of patriotic. It's just pretty. I started this on a 36 count white Edinburgh linen with all the called for floss. And this is where I am. I don't know what I'm going to target on that. Maybe halfway? Let's do a halfway. Let's do a halfway, shall we? Half finish. Feeling good about them so far. We'll see what happens as the year goes, right? This all starts January 1st. The next one I started, this was a Mania start in 2020. I haven't really stitched on it much since then. And I have it in a bag that has things stuffed in it. This is a Modern Folk Embroidery Kindness and Fortitude. I do not have a printout of the mock-up, sorry. I'm stitching this on 18 count Ada that I have dyed navy blue. I'm stitching this with Blanc, DMC Blanc, 2 threads over 1 fabric square, and this is where I am. I love how this is coming out, even though I do not like stitching with white thread, but I like how it's coming out. I don't think the camera's doing it justice right now. And this year I'm targeting a finish on this one. I'm hoping to reduce my WIP count by quite a bit. I feel pretty good when I'm around 20 WIPs, but once we get, I actually had stress yesterday over 35 WIPs. So, yeah. The next one I have is Tired Trio by Plum Street Samplers. This one? Sorry. I guess I'll do one not taken out of plastic, but I guess I'm not going to subject you all to all of them out of plastic. So let's go. Tired Trio, Plum Street Samplers. I'm doing this with the called for threads on 28 count. Tea-dyed Monaco by me. There is really no reason why this is not finished. Yet here it is, not finished. I plan to finish this year because I'm planning to give it to one of my daughters. So that is going to be a finish. We'll total these up in the end and we'll see just how many I have slated for a finish this year. The next one I have is Pandemic by Long Dog. This was a free pattern release during the height of the pandemic in 2020. I started it in 2020 on May 13th as part of Mania. I'm stitching this on 40 count Heritage by Pictures Plus with a charcoal silk from Silks for You. This is the printout. Let's do closer is better, I guess. That's the printout. This is what I have so far. It's actually quite fun to stitch. I like the back stitching and the line work in there. I'm having fun with that. And my goal for 2022 is to have the top row of pages done. I would like to get all the way across to the other corner. I'm not even sure how many pages this has, but I definitely would like to get the top row of pages done, knowing that that project's going to be a multi-year project. Let's see, we're up to WIP number 10, so hang in there. If you need a break, go get a cup of coffee. Just pause me and go get a coffee. Hooray. This is Pringles by Little House Needleworks. I had large plans for this one to get it done when I started it, which was on the 29th of May in 2020. It didn't get a ton of work in 2021. I'm going to show you where I am. It's being stitched with all the called for threads with 30 count Parisian gray legacy linen. Best way to show this to you. Okay. Ignore my park threads. I'll show it to you like this. This over here is halfway across the roof, and I've got one of the rooms almost done. My goal for 2022 on Pringles is the top level to be done. And what I mean by top level, this would include the roof, this whole line of rooms, and this black scallop work here. That's a lot of stitching. But I think I can do it. This year I bought a Lowry stand, and I've been two-handed stitching and perfecting my technique with that. And I can actually get quite a bit of stitching done at one time when I sit down to do it. So yeah, my goal for that is to have the top level done. Next, WIP number 11. This is called Emily's House by Lindy Stitches. It is stitched on 36 count Ren by Picture This Plus. This is stitched with a stash die for me. So I have some of the called for DMC, some silks from my stash. Ignore my thread and my needle. And this is where we are today. You can barely see the moon. There's a big moon there in this lighting, but you can see it in real life. What if I showed it over here? Can you see it? Yeah, a little bit. I am targeting a finish for this in 2022. It'll be interesting, I think, at the end of 2022 when I do this again, now that I'm tracking what I say I'm going to do, and I'm going to document on a calendar what I work on each day. It'll be interesting at the end of 22, I think, for me to, this is my target, is at the end of the 22, compare what I said I thought I could do and what I actually get done. I think that's going to be the interesting part. Okay. So WIP number 12 for me is Mushroom and Fern Mandala by Shelling. I started this on June 18th of 2020. This has probably gotten the most work on it out of all. And I should probably unroll this for you so you can see it all. I'm going to take, I have a piece of felt in here because I have beading done and I kind of wanted to cushion the beading. Let me get this rolled out for you. Okay. Can you see it? Can you see it all? That's where I am on the Mushroom and Fern Mandala. I would absolutely love to tell you that I'm going to get this done in 2022. I would, I would love to have it finished in 2022, and I absolutely love working on it. Matter of fact, a friend of mine's coming over tomorrow for a stitch day, and I think that that's what I'm going to work on while she's here. I think if I get it half finished, if I get the bottom half complete, that would be a reasonable goal for 2022. However, it's a lot. There's a lot of stitches, and there's a lot of specialty stitches, and there's a lot of beading. So it'll be interesting to see if I can actually pull that off. But interesting to try, right? My next WIP is Land That I Love by Teresa Kogut. I started this on July 22nd of 2020, and I don't know that it's gotten a whole lot of work this year. I actually, some of these I could have sworn I started this year. But when I look back on my Instagram and things, nope, I started them back last year. This I'm stitching with the called for threads. I believe this is 40 count Beach Brew by R&R. And, okay. This is what I've gotten done. This one, the goal will be the top row of pages. I believe that makes half of it, but we'll see. Top row of pages for 2022, and we'll see how it goes from there. Nope, now my phone's going off. But yeah, I think I have high hopes. I think I'm targeting high. We're going to see, because we still have a lot of WIPs to go. So we'll see what happens. My next WIP is coming to America. This is also by With Thy Needle and Thread. I bought this as a kit through, I think, the Shepherd's Bush. Came in a boxed kit. It had a needle minder. It had some bling and stuff to it. This is stitched on the called for 32 count vintage country. No, not 32. I think I requested 40 count. Yeah, I think so too. I have not gone very far. And so for this one, not very far, there is a big ship on the top with the Cape Cod banner. Can you guys see that? I want to finish the ship with the Cape Cod banner this year. I think it's easier to make these goals while I'm talking to you. I don't know why. And thank you for tolerating with me taking time to type in my goals while we sit here. I'm stitching that with all the called for floss, all the kit floss. Yeah. Excited to get back to some of these, to be quite honest with you. I'm excited to get back to some of them. Next up, Pandemic Sampler. This was put out as a free pattern by Sarcy Girl during the pandemic. I started it sometime in November of 2020. Absolutely love this. I'm using all the called for threads. I am stitching this on a piece of 36 count old linen by XJU Design. My target this year on this one is to get the top half finished. So all the top row of pages done. And then hopefully to finish it in 2023. I absolutely love. So just to be clear, in the process of getting ready to do this WIP parade, I have since culled my collection of anything I was not enjoying stitching on. That being said, if I had a WIP that I had started, for example, I had started a Santa Claus, a vintage Santa WIP, and it came from Fat Quarter Shop, and just was not enjoying the stitch. I was talking to my friend Gail from Gail's Gold Needle, and she really liked it. So I have since shipped that WIP to her. My start on my Christmas list from Silver Creek Samplings. My first start went to my mom. She's finishing that because she liked that start. And I was stitching Mary Needleworker from Lindy Stitches, and I will be restarting that. I love that pattern, but I wasn't liking when I was stitching it on, and that went to my cousin, and she bought the pattern, and she is finishing that. So just to be really clear, I have since culled all the stuff that I wasn't enjoying stitching. So this is what I'm left with, that I enjoy all of them. So I'm going through them now, and I was watching Michelle Bendy for a little bit this morning, and she was saying that one of the reasons she likes going through a WIP parade is because it makes her want to stitch on them again. And I'm kind of there. I'm wanting to stitch all of these again, and pulling them all out of the bag and making a goal is making me want to stitch them. So that being said, I did one stitch along in 2021 and did not keep up with it, although it's beautiful. It's Jacob's Modern Folk Embroidery, Fruit of Plenty. Let's do it right side up. Fruit of Plenty. It was the 2021 sale. I say was. It's still going for a few more days. I am not caught up. Matter of fact, I am getting ready to finish August. I did start getting ready to finish September. I did start October's. This is stitched on 36 count porcelain from Lakeside Linen. I am using DMC 823 and 37.99, and I'm also using Silky 12 weight Peacock. And you'll see. And if you've been around here, you've already seen this. It is big. This is where I am. You see how I have some of October done in that bottom corner. But what I've been working on recently is this, wrong side. This area right here, this is CC stitching in that colorway of Peacock. I also have to fix the M. If you notice, the M is lower than the A. And I need to fix the M. And my friend Gail from Gail's Gold Needle also had an M there. And she has texted me her charting that she did on that, so I can make sure to get it in the right spot. But that's that. This is going right back on the Q-snap, and it will be my main focus probably until it's done. But it's turning out nice. I am stitching some of it 2/1, so like the birds. I can't do this. I'm directionally challenged, people. This bird right here, I'm stitching 2/1. All the other 823 is 1/1, except for the birds in the center of like that motif. I have squirrels that are the DMC 37.99. Also these urns or 37.99. And I've kind of been carrying that color through the entire project. So that is that. That is targeted for a finish. That will definitely be finished. Because we are not carrying that into 2023. I'm also not doing any sales this year. I will say that I have a year-long project I'd like to get done, but it's not a sale. It's purely just for my benefit. Speaking of which, nice segue. I have started on January 1st of 2021. I started the Anniversaries of the Heart series. I was inspired by Olivia, Pumpkin Hollow Quilts. My family's not a close family, so I thought it was an opportunity to do something and make a family piece that could then go down. I did start on Snow Garden. This is by Blackbird Designs. I do have all the other patterns for the large piece of Anniversaries of the Heart. I'm stitching that in a large piece. I would love to do one every month. That's my target, so that I can have it done at the end of the year. Let's see. I do have my doubts whether I can do that, just because it was difficult for me to keep up with a Modern Folk Embroidery sale. That being said, that sale was like 4,000 to 5,000 stitches every month, which for me is difficult sometimes. These are not that big. There are some bigger ones, but most of them are this size. Did I say I was stitching this on 36 count light exemplar by Lakeside Linen? I'm doing it with the called for DMCs substitutions. It's originally charted and over dyed. And this is my start on Snow Garden. Not a very big start, but it's a start nonetheless. And maybe a way to get me catapulted onto it for 2022. I would love to get it done. I think I'm going to wait till the end to decide exactly whose initials I'm putting where. But yeah, I would like to do that one a month and get it done by end of 2022. This, I can't even believe this is still there. I started this with a friend of mine. She's since finished hers. I have not finished mine. This is the Liberty Jar from Hands On Design. It is stitched on 14 count chalkboard Aida with the called for threads. Cannot even believe it's still a WIP. I would like to finish this one and the small that goes with it that you see here. It's targeted for a finish in 2022. There's no reason it should still be a WIP, so it should definitely be finished in 2022. I think I just lose focus. I'm not sure, but we're going to, next one I have is my first of several Hades. You've seen this before. I started this back in February of 2021 of this year. This is Heaven and Earth Designs, artwork by Leonid Afremov, and this is bonded in by the rain. I started this as a tribute piece for myself and my husband. I am stitching this. You see how I do all my calculations all over the printout. I'm stitching this on 25 count. I'm doing 2/1 10 stitch. It recently got a little bit of love. I enjoy working on it. I'm using some bobbins to wrangle in. Let me try to get this where I can hold it. To wrangle in the threads. I do the parking method. This one I started in the upper right. And I'm using a diagonal kind of sort of with the parking method. I was at one point trying to work over to the other corner and gave up on that. I go back and forth. I weave in the end. I weave in all the threads, and then I go back to parking method just because parking method seems to be easier for me. And that's how I'm doing my other Hades, my other full coverages as well. But that's where we are there. My goal with that one is the first row of pages this year. I would like to get the first row of pages across the top done. That is a long-term Hade. It is 350 by 640. So yeah, I would like to eventually get it across to the other border because I know that I can trim some fabric and then maybe get it on a scroll frame. Starry Night. So this was a Radiolus kit that my husband bought me. I started it like within days of him buying it for me, and it has gone MIA. I have no idea where it is. I've been searching for it most of the day today, or at least most of the morning today. I've searched for it in previous times. I have no idea where it is. I'm sure that it will turn up, if not during this WIP parade when I'm opening all these bags. It'll turn up eventually, and if it does, my goal is to get that half finished as well. But right now I'm putting down MIA because I can't really work on it if I can't find it. I have never had a piece go MIA like that. Ever. Ever, ever. My next WIP, I started this one on the 19th of May this year as part of Mania. This is called, sorry, but it's all crumpled Star Wars characters. We made a movie room down in our basement, and I started this before we did that, or before we even decided to do that, but I think this would go great down here, framed and up in our movie room. I am stitching this on 20 count Aida with all the called for floss. This was put out by, I believe it's called Cross Stitch Studio. No longer in business. Can't find them. Doesn't respond to emails. This, I've been able to get the first 3 pages in the Pattern Keeper, but other than that, I'm having little to no luck. I also know that Leanne from Leanne Stitches has a Marvel Superheroes from the same place, that she has issues with it going in the Pattern Keeper. So she and I have chatted back and forth once about, you know, if you figure out something that works, let me know. But right now we're just going to go with it as is. My row, as on all other full coverage, is to have the top row of pages completed by the end of 2022. And honestly, I love stitching on full coverage, and in a lot of ways it's easier than stitching where you have to do a lot of counting. I'm hoping top row pages will be nothing for some of these. My next one before, oh no, I got a couple more before I go to the other side. My next one is called Liberty's Welcome. It is by Plum Street Samplers. It is stitched on a piece of 40 count. I think it's Brenda's Brew from R&R. I'm doing it in all the called for DMC. Yep, DMC. And I didn't get much of a start. This was a Mania start for me. Yes. I started May 30th of 2021. And I didn't get much done. You'll see. Just the outline of the house. What I would like to do with this one is to outline that house. And I have a stitching retreat in Pennsylvania for the Steel City Stitchers. I like to fill in the house, but let's see. I'm going to say 2-page finish for this one. And we'll see. I'm starting to think I've got a lot slated already for 2022, and we're not even. We're on WIP number. That is WIP number 21 for me. My next WIP before I switch to the other side over here is Mandalorian by Forbidden Fiber Co. This was in a Mandalorian cross-stitch box that I got from them. It is on the kit fabric. It is on with the called for Forbidden Fiber Co. flosses, so it came with all of them. It is on 14. No, this is not on 14 count. The model was stitched on 14 count. I don't remember what this is, but it is. It is hand dyed by them. I have no idea what it is. And this is all I have done right here. Not a very big start. But it honestly should not take long, and I think that I should target a finish for 2022. I'm gonna target a finish. We'll see how it goes. Like I said, it'll be interesting at the end of 22 to see, but you see I'm already doubting myself, so we'll see how it goes. But that is that one. Alright. Hello, Oscar. My cat's down here now. Are you guys sick of me yet? Gosh, it seems like it's gone on forever. It's almost an hour already. My next WIP is, so this is Queen of Freedom. This was my unicorn chart, and I reached out on a Facebook page of How to Put Charts, and a very kind woman gifted me this chart. And I told her at least 10 times how grateful I was. This chart means a lot to me, being a veteran. It just speaks to me. So I started this. I started this on 30 count Constitution linen. By the primitive hair with all the called for. I'm going to replace the Krynic, so I'm not crazy about working with Krynic. I am replacing the Krynic, going to replace the Krynic that I've done with her with DMC Diamant. But I started in her head because I centered it on the We the People linen. See? So I centered her in that. I started on her head. And I did start her skin 1/1. I'm not sure if I will keep doing her skin 1/1 or if I will just go back and do it 2/2. But that's where I'm at on her, and I would love to pull her back out too. I'm not going to put a goal down for her or my other fancy lady at the moment. I have to think about those and see what I think, you know. I have 2 fancy ladies going, and I'd love to get them both done, but I don't know about that. Alright, next one, Quaker Christmas by Bygone Stitches. I am stitching this on 40 count Tyco linen. I'm using DMC 935. Now keep in mind, you're going to see that number here in a second. So this must be one of my favorite greens from DMC, I'm thinking. DMC 935, Gentle Arts Gold Leaf and Classic Colorworks Cherry Cobbler. I'm charting a 2-page finish on here. I don't care if it's 1 top, 1 bottom, or 1 here, 1 across. That either way it would be halfway. So we're going to target a 2-page. Oh, hold on, I got that in the wrong spot. 2-page finish. That won't be hard at all. This one stitches up super fast. I am so messy when I put these things away, for crying out loud. This one also needs a project bag. Let me get this ready to show you. Sorry, I didn't iron or anything today. I did mean to be a little more together today, but if you've been around here, you know that I'm as together as I usually am. But this is where I am. It's coming out super nice. I like the gold leaf, the star here, and I like the cherry cobbler for the red and the Noel. But that's coming out super good. So like it. I'll stitch Christmas whenever. So I am in the season stitcher. Like I prefer to stitch Christmas around Christmas time, but I'm also, if I'm enjoying stitching it, I'll stitch it whenever. So I'm targeting a 2-page finish on that. That will target it at being done in 2023. It's funny because there's bite marks all through this from one of my animals, which I think is I'm disconcerting. Can you see it? Can you see all the bite marks across the top of that? Pretty sure it's our small dog. Okay. Next WIP is Mill Hill Buttons and Beads Kit. It's called the Tree of Life. See the button in the middle with the bird. I did start this on perforated paper that was in the kit. I'm using all the kit threads. I'm targeting a finish for 2022. Don't you like being here with me while I set my goals? Anyway, I park here just like I park on everything else. I didn't get very much done. I'm struggling a little bit with stitching on the perforated paper, but I will get there. You need something behind that. Let's see if I can find something blank to put behind that. Hold on. Oh, please. So sorry. Okay. That's what I've gotten done. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of stitching on the perforated paper. I would like to get it done now. So it's targeted for a finish in 2022. There's no reason why I shouldn't be able to get that done. It is good travel stitching because I can see the holes. It is good anywhere stitching because I don't need magnification or anything like that. So that is good. Next is Matilda's drum. This should not be a WIP either for credit. This was the pattern I watched whilst Iris naps, and it was the first time I had watched her on YouTube. And I really liked her this particular pattern, and I like the sampler that she put out after this, which is, I also have the sampler in my stash. Yeah. But this is Matilda's drum, but whilst Iris naps. I really, really like this pattern. I am stitching this on 36 count Edinburgh linen in platinum. Edinburgh must be one of my favorite go-tos, and I'm called for DMC with the combination of a stash dive. So I compared what she had called for and pulled from my stash. And this should not still be a WIP, but we're gonna, it's still a WIP, regardless of what it should be. But here you go. That's where I am. It has some specialty stitches. I'm not sure if the camera picks them up or if it blows them out. Let me see if I can make this smaller. I like specialty stitches. It just makes things really interesting. Let's see if I can get that focused. There are specialty stitches. Those are eyelet stitches in there. I don't know if you can see them. You guys will have to comment to see. Maybe when I rewatch this video. Yeah. So I'm going to target a finish on that one. Hold on, I need a drink of water. Target a finish on that one and see how it goes. I'd love to. I do have a smalls exchange, so I'm going to 2 retreats this year. I'm going to Steel City Stitchers retreat in February in Pittsburgh. Sorry, and I'm going to StitchCon Weekend B, and I need a smalls exchange for that one. So that could either be the Raven needle book from Lindy Stitches or that Whilst Iris Naps drum. So we'll see. I also have a retreat piece for the Steel City Stitchers retreat that I need to stitch that I was pulling threads for earlier. So that will go into kind of my WIP rotate. Sorry, until it's done. Sorry for the yawning, guys. I don't know why. I slept fine. Yeah. Alright, next one. Halloween Quaker by Lila's Studio. I was saying Lila's Studio for the longest time, and that's why I have to think about it now when I say it, because it's Lila's Studio. I've been corrected. This is Halloween Quaker by Lila's Studio. I would love to do this Biscornu that's down here too, but right now I'm just targeting that top portion. I'm going to target a finish on this one. And I'm going to tell you why. I really like it. It's on 28 count Anubis by Under the Sea. I think it's Under the Sea. Hold on. Yep, Under the Sea Fabrics. It's with the called for threads. It only has like 4 colors. Oh no, it's more than that. But color wise, it's really nothing. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 colors. It's on 28 count Anubis that I got from Lindy Stitches. And there's no reason why I should not be able to finish this year. So this is where I am. I started in the middle with that witch and I worked my way over. Total joy to stitch on. That light's washing the fabric out. The fabric's actually quite darker than that. So I'm targeting a finish. I want to finish it. And, yep. So I should have lots of finishes next year is what I'm thinking. Yeah. That being said, I do have some planned starts this year, which I'll get into at the end of this video. Not very many, but I have some things I would like to start this year. We'll see, because I have them, I'd like to start them, but my WIP count's stressing me out enough where I think what'll happen is if I can cross off enough of my goals that I'm setting for myself right now, I will allow myself a start. But other than that, Raven Needle Book, which I haven't gone through yet. This is the other prospect for the Smalls Exchange. I am stitching this on 36 count cream linen from Zweigart. It was a release by Lindy Stitches, and I just like the shiny thing. It also, part of it has a picture. I'm going to show you the back part. It came as a kit with all the finishing. And the back part, you see that raven on a featherweight. Mom has recently given me a featherweight. And I believe it came with all the pins and everything in here to finish it. And a pair of scissors to go in there. And I would love to do this. This is where I am. It came with a 28 count Silvery Moon Lugana, I believe. And I just didn't like it as much as putting it on here. And I don't know why. So I like this better. And I started on the featherweight. Of course I started on the featherweight. I am targeting a finish this year and an FFO. Which is also what I'm targeting for Matilda's drum. Is finish and an FFO. So we'll put that down for the Raven Needle Book as well. I am targeting both those as an FFO. Now I'm not, as you saw earlier with my finishes, I'm not super great at FFOing things, but I'm hoping I will be this year. We're almost to the end. Are you still with me? We're over an hour. Oh my goodness. The next one, I started this in October of this year. It is called Autumn Town by Autumn Lane Stitchery. I saw Brenda from Handwork Maniac stitching this and absolutely fell in love with this. I am doing a stash dive conversion to use some of the hand-dyed silks that I've gotten from Be Stitch Me. As you can see, playing with those. I'm stitching this on 36 count Valor by Pictureless Plus. And I haven't gotten a huge start on it. And I'm kind of wondering what my goal should be on this one. Keep in mind, the green in this pattern is not stitched. It is the fabric. I'm going to put a finish. I could have very lofty goals here. We'll see how much I can stitch. It's not me if I don't aim high, right? I'm an Air Force girl, by the way. This is also targeted for a finish. If you were part of Black Sampler November, I chose to do Death is a Dialogue by Lindy Stitches. It's a poem by Emily Dickinson, part of a poem. I'm doing this on 36 Count Elephant by Fox and Rabbit. I am stitching this with a charcoal silk from Silks for You, and this is how far I've gotten. There is no reason why that should not be finished already, so it will be a finish for 2022. It just will. It's lettering. I find lettering pretty simple to stitch. That's probably why I put it aside, because I probably got bored with it. But it is what it is. Almost there. Next one is my other fancy lady, which I'm not going to put a goal to. I absolutely love stitching on her, though. This is called Royal Holiday by Mirabilia. She is beautiful. She is a restart. So I had already started her, and I'd started her on a gray Silver Linings linen by somebody, and I don't remember exactly who it was from. I'm stitching her with all the called for, and I believe this is 28 Count Abyss by Fabrics by Stephanie, and I absolutely love her on this fabric. Excuse all the threads. Again, I park. Here she is. I'm going to move her over here because I think let's let the camera focus. She is beautiful on this fabric. That does not do it justice. It is beautiful emerald green fabric. It is dark, and these ripples in her skirt, oh, they just are so pretty. I love stitching on her. Love it. Absolutely love her. That's why I can't set a goal for the fancy ladies, because when I stitch on them and I get into something like this, I could stitch on them for days and never end. To the point where it will take out one of my other goals, probably. Yeah. I can't set a goal on her, and I won't. The fancy ladies are their own little enigmas, and I will stab a goal. Put a goal on her, stab. Okay. This is another recent start. This is from the Primitive Stitcher Punch Needle magazine. This is Dancer by Barbara Anna. I am stitching this on 32 count Vintage Country Mocha from my stash, with all the called for DMC except for 2. I substituted for the DMC 920, I substituted 3801, and for the DMC 918, I substituted in 304. I did not like the actual colors. I mean, I liked how red it looks here, but the actual colors, when you pulled them, were more of a rust and orange color, and I didn't like those. Again, excuse the threads, I park, and this is where I am. Isn't she pretty? I'm targeting a finish on her for 2022. There's no reason why she shouldn't be finished. There's no reason why she shouldn't be finished right now, to be quite honest with you. Alright, other one. We have 3 more to go. Are you still with me? Thank you. Thanks for staying with me. It's over an hour. If you are still listening to me, kudos for you. Kudos for you. This is artwork by Amy Stewart. This is another Haid. This is called Mini Stitching Shelf. I'm going to show you the picture I have on my tablet. This is it looks grainy on my end. I'm hoping it looks better to you. I started this on 18 count Aida, 2/1, full cross. I started in the bottom right with the called for DMC. My target for this is to get 2 pages done. This is my start. It is still in the Q-snap because I still plan to work on it. I want 2 pages of this done. That's my goal for this year. This is not, the heights are never going to be large goals. They're always going to be manageable. I have other heights that I would love to start. Haven't started them yet. Next one is Dasher and Dancer. This is a recent start. I started this Christmas Eve day with my friend Gail from Gail's Golden Needle. It is from Hobby House Press, which happens to be from Hobby House Needleworks, which is my local needlework shop. She also has a small available in pattern form. Absolutely love this. What I didn't like about this was the fabric choice and the wine thread. Just because we're not red sampler people, I think it's beautiful there. It's just not our style. So I hemmed and hawed. I was going to stitch it all in white on this red Cardinal fabric from the Stitch Meet that I gotten in my Fabric of the Month. It's actually more red than that. That's really showing more orange. It's a deeper red than that. And I was going to stitch it in all white. I really was not happy with how that was coming out. So then I was on a video chat with Gail from Gail's Golden Needle. And we were talking about it a little bit, and I just was disenchanted with the whole thing and wasn't really feeling anything. So then I started pulling fabrics and started pulling threads. I started pulling some lighter fabrics with some darker burgundy threads. Still wasn't feeling that, and had sent her several pictures, and she called. She said, I feel like you're distressed and you need to call. So we talked about it a little bit, and then I started thinking, well, I like the thought of maybe doing a green on the red. So remember that DMC 935 that I used in Christmas Quaker? So I pulled that out, and I started stitching with that on this Cardinal fabric. Beautiful fabric by B Stitch Me, 36 count. And I really liked it. So I started stitching that on here, and then I decided, well, what if I brought in some other colors? So this is what I ended up with. That is really blowing out that red to orange. It's not orange like that. It is a deep red. So that top alphabet border and the border itself is stitched in that DMC 935. I really want this to not show it. That's the actual red. See that? That's what it is. Then underneath it, that lettering or numbering that you see there is done in a sulky blendable. It's grays. I can give you the number. Hold on. I don't know what it's called. It's the same one I used for the moon in Emily's house. It is 733-4027. That's the number. So that row is done in that sulky. That snowflake is done in Classic Colorworks Bamboo. And the tree that I started there and this motif over here is done in Classic Colorworks Steamed Broccoli. And I love how it's coming out. It's really washed out here because of my lighting. I'm sorry. But I love how it's coming out. I targeted 1 page finish for this, which I technically already have because I went over onto another page to finish the alphabet so I could get to the tree. I may do a little more work on it, but honestly I'd rather, at this stage, switch over to something that's a little older to get some love. I have one more thing to mention, and it's only because we are going to start this on New Year's Eve, so I wanted to include it in here. My mom's birthday is New Year's Eve, and she would like to start His Eye on a Sparrow by Beth Heartstring Samplery by Beth Twist. This is the printed out PDF pattern of this. This is a monster, as if that's any stranger to me. I stitch mostly monsters these days, but this is pretty big. 435 wide by 363 high. I did a stash drive for threads. I did not want to go out and kit this up. I just pulled from my stash. These are kind of what I pulled at the moment. If one of them doesn't work, I may pick something else. And I'm stitching this on a 36 count cream Edinburgh linen. I think this will be perfect. And we are starting that New Year's Eve. And all I'm targeting for this, for 2022, is, let's see, a page finish. That's it. So it is likely that this will come out and get stitched on for New Year's Eve, maybe New Year's Day. Yeah. I'm not going to really bore you anymore today. It's been an hour and 15 minutes. And thank you for hanging in. My channel is still a little low on subscribers. Once we get to 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to do a huge giveaway, which will be a pattern that is fully kitted fabric and thread. It'll be a small to medium sized pattern if I can get to 500 subscribers. So tell your friends, like the video, please subscribe if you're not already, and thank you for sticking around for my WIP parade and my finish parade for 2021. I have 3 starts that I would like to start this year. Map of Hawthorne Hollow is one of them. His Eye on Sparrow, which is getting started on Friday, and Evening in the Park, which is another chatelaine. But we will see how things go. Everybody, I hope you had a happy and safe Christmas. I hope you continue to have a happy and safe Happy New Year. And I will see you on the other side in 2022. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great day. Be kind.